All right. Catalina Island, California. Nice job. That is absolutely correct. Wow. Good job, Llama. Based on the scenery and the style of the Olympic rings, it is possible the location is Whistler Blackcomb in British Columbia. Awesome. I'm looking at it relatively quickly, but that is excellent. So, okay, let's see. Pismo Beach. Woohoo. That is brilliant. I mean, seriously, this is not just a vision model. This is actually really cool. Hey, y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. Today, I want to talk about sound and vision. Specifically, I want to talk about ChatGPT 4.0 and its ability to now do full voice integration. Like OpenAI had told us, I think back in May it was, that they did the demonstrations and said that was coming soon. It's taken quite a while, but it's here. So I'm going to do a quick back and forth. Unfortunately, it's just on my phone, so it's going to be one of these things where I'll hold it up to the microphone. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it okay. And then I'm going to test Llama 3.2 90 billion parameter vision model. Very, very cool. I'm going to test it against a bunch of pictures and see how well it does. So if you look over here, there's a little marker here on ChatGPT. You of course have to have the paid version. Hello, ChatGPT. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about you? How's your evening going?
I'm doing okay. What's the weather like right now?
I don't have real-time access to weather updates, but you can easily check the current weather in your area using the weather app or website.
Okay, but can you tell me about current events right now? There's something going on in Conyers with a biolab that's just caught fire and people are being told to evacuate. Can you tell me about that news?
I can't provide updates on current events or news as they happen. For the latest news, especially urgent situations like a fire, I'd recommend checking reliable
Okay,
news
ChatGPT, can you write me any code in this voice interface mode or not?
Yes, I can help you with coding questions or write code for you while we're chatting here.
Okay.
What kind of code do you...
Well, can you write the classic snake game for me in Python?
I'll outline a basic version of the snake game using Python's turtle module.
No. Please use Pygame instead. I would much rather you used Pygame.
Got it. Here's a basic snake game using Pygame. If you keep hitting the play button, you're going to make it really fast. You can pause the video now. Oh, Alexa,
Okay.
playing Pygame obstacle course races.
Okay.
What is
It
the
seems
name
like
of the
it seems like
table
you've
of
gone off the
animals?
rails here.
In the classroom,
Hey,
the kid is playing a game.
ChatGPT, what's going on right now? How come you...
Let's start that again. Here's a full basic snake game implementation.
Whoa. Okay. I don't see any code at all. Can you type out code while we're talking, or are you stuck in just voice interface
Let's
mode?
get back on.
Are you broken? Hello? Hello? Can you tell me a
I'm
story?
here. It seems like we had a bit of a hiccup there.
Okay.
Let's try again. Here's
Hey,
a simple
no, what I
snake
want you
game
to
in
do is tell
Python
me the
using
story.
Pygame.
Tell me a
Copy that
story.
to your working memory if you need.
Hey, ChatGPT,
let's run that.
I want you to tell me a story about Pygame. And we're stuck. So one thing you can see here, if you look, is that it actually does have some code that it wrote, but I can't see it while I'm actually talking to it. It's got that sort of ball cloud thingy in the way. Very, very slow interface. It's not that great, and it's really not that useful because most of the things I would want to use a chat interface with are things like telling me about current events. There is an actual fire in Conyers, Georgia, and it's actually not that far from where we live, and a biolab caught fire and it blew a bunch of toxic smoke into the air. So a little bit scary, and it doesn't even know the weather, so I can't even ask it what the weather is like around here. So anyway, I don't know what the use case of this is because I would much rather do, hey Siri, what is the weather going to be like tomorrow?
Expect partly cloudy skies tomorrow.
So anyway, obviously the voice of Siri is not nearly as good, and that's with the new AI version of it. It's not nearly as good as ChatGPT. The voice is very good in ChatGPT, but it doesn't work that well if you interrupt it too often. It's difficult to have it do a task since it's on your phone. Like if it was on the computer, it would be much easier because I could maybe have a window with the code in it while it was actually talking to me. So it's not particularly useful yet. I think it will be eventually, but right now it's not particularly useful. And the primary reason it's not that useful is it doesn't have access to real-time information, which I think that a conversational agent really needs to have. That's the kind of thing that you usually want to converse with a human being or an agent about, is current events. And so now with that out of the way, I wasn't really all that impressed with ChatGPT's voice mode. I'm really excited to try out Llama 3.2 90B Vision Instruct model. This is on together.ai right now. There are a growing number of sites that have this available, but they have that. They had a free $5 of credits when I signed up for it, so I will leave a link in the description. I have no association with together.ai, and I haven't even used the service before, so we'll see how it works together tonight, but I'm really excited to try out the Vision model in particular. First, though, the interesting thing about how Meta did this is that they took each of their models. So this is clearly the Llama 3.170 billion parameter model that they tacked another 20 billion parameters on to do the Vision model. And the way they trained it is they said that they froze Llama 3.1, the text version of it. So that version is exactly the same as what we saw in Llama 3.1, which by the way was excellent. I did a whole test on it. You can check it out up here if you're interested. And it succeeded in flying colors. So today I don't really want to deal with the text stuff. I want to deal with the vision stuff. So I'm going to give it a bunch of images and ask it different questions or different tasks for it to do based on these images. So you can see here I have a bunch of images. I just clicked the little plus button to upload it, and I'm going to select this first one, which is a Dolly image that, I posted a couple of days ago on X. So I'm going to say, please tell me about this image, and hit go, and let's see what it does. Okay, that's very, very fast. Wow. Okay, fantastical scene featured two anthropomorphic lizards standing on a beach. I think the first one was supposed to be a fish, but whatever. I could definitely see that that's a lizard as well. Watching a rocket launch, the lizard on the left boasts a large dorsal fin and a fish-like tail. Excellent. While the one on the right has more traditional lizard appearance. Both creatures display a range of facial expressions, with the one on the left appearing to smile and the other looking more serious. In the background, a rocket soars into the sky, leaving a trail of smoke and flames in its wake. The rocket is positioned to the right of the image, with the moon visible in the top left corner. The overall atmosphere of the image is one of wonder and excitement, as the two lizards seem to be marveling at the sight of a rocket launch. So that is a really, really excellent job with that, and it identified it as something fantastical and not realistic. So I'm going to ask it what image generator it thinks created this image, and let's see what it says. All right, possibly Dolly or a similar model. Excellent job. That was Dolly, and really nicely done so far, Llama. Next up is an image that I've used in my testing before for large language models in general. It's a photo of me at Catalina Island with a giant sea bass, and so I'm asking it to tell me what this picture is and where it was taken, and we'll see how accurate it can be. All right, so I had several errors that got generated and had to reload the page, but it looks like we have a very long description of what this image is. The image depicts a scuba diver, good job, in the water surrounded by kelp and fish, good. The diver is wearing a black wetsuit with yellow accents on the mask and fins, okay. It's actually not fins, it's actually my octopus hose, but I'll give it a little bit of a pass on that. The mask has a yellow logo on it, but it's not clear what the logo represents. It's actually a dolphin. The diver is holding a yellow hose that appears to be connected to an air tank, which is not visible in the image. It actually is partially. In the background, there are several large kelp plants swaying gently in the current. Interesting, since it's just a still image that it's saying swaying, but that makes sense. The water is clear and blue-green with sunlight filtering down from above. There are also several fish swimming around the diver, including a large one that appears to be a species of bass or grouper. Nice job. Based on the presence of kelp and the type of fish in the image, it's likely that the photo was taken in the Pacific Ocean, possibly off the coast of California or Mexico. The clear water and abundant marine life suggest a healthy ecosystem, and the presence of kelp indicates that the water is relatively cold, as kelp typically thrives in cooler temperatures. Overall, the image suggests a peaceful and serene underwater environment, with the diver observing the marine life without disturbing it. The use of scuba gear and the presence of kelp and fish indicate that this is a recreational diving location, possibly a popular spot for tourists or locals to explore the ocean's depths. So that's good, but I'm going to ask it to be more specific. I want it to take an actual guess here, so let's see. All right, Catalina Island, California. Nice job. That is absolutely correct. Wow, good job, Llama. And from that, let's turn to having it look at an image and write the game. So this is Space Invaders. I'm going to load that image up, and I'm going to see if it recognized this as Space Invaders. Great. And then I told it to write a, Pygame version of this for Python, created in 1978 by Nishikoto. Here's a simplified version of the game. Cool. That looks too short to work, but I'll give it a try. All right, so copied over in VS Code. Let's get fired up and see. Yeah, syntax error, invalid syntax. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and try copying in the error which was a syntax error. So I'm going to see if it can do a better job this time, and maybe we will have some more luck. By the way, while this is printing out, there are multiple versions of this new version of Llama. There's the 3.2 90 billion parameter, which of course is the equivalent of the old 70 billion parameter one. Then there's the 11 billion parameter, which is the equivalent of the 7 billion parameter. And then there are 1 and 2 billion parameter versions that are built to run on edge devices like phones and stuff. So very, very exciting that they've got all of this. And then of course there will be the eventual release, I assume, of the equivalent of the 405 billion parameter version, which will probably be like 450 billion parameters or something along those lines, which will have vision and integrated as well. And that will be even more exciting because it's a larger model. So this has a few more lines of code, but we will see. I still am not holding out much hope. Hello? Okay. We got something. I don't see anything on the screen. I mean, it at least created a Pygame window, so that's a plus. Anyway, okay, so it didn't work, so that's unfortunate, but at least it recognized the game and what it was supposed to be writing. That's very, very cool. Next up, I'm going to ask it the exact same question about a ski trip, vacation picture, whatever you want to call it there. So let's see what we got. All right, and for the snowy picture, we've got the image depicts a photograph of two individuals, that's us, standing in front of the Olympic rings with a snowy mountains background landscape serving as a backdrop. The couple is dressed in winter attire. In the foreground, the Olympic rings are prominently displayed. The people are wearing dark colored clothes. Behind the couple, the snow-covered mountains rise up, dotted with trees and ski lifts. The sky above is a brilliant blue, devoid of clouds, adding to the overall sense of clarity and crispness in the image. Very nice. The atmosphere appears to be one of joy and celebration, as if the couple is commemorating a special occasion or achievement. That's kind of cool. Given the presence of the Olympic rings and the winter sports equipment, it is likely that this photograph was taken at a ski resort that has hosted the Winter Olympics. Based on the scenery and the style of the Olympic rings, it is possible the location is Whistler Blackcomb in British Columbia. Awesome. Which hosted the alpine skiing event during the 2010 Winter Olympics. However, without more specific information or context, it's difficult to pinpoint the exact location with certainty. That is excellent. What a great way to use clues and the look of the environment and everything. I'm so impressed. Okay, so next I'm going to give it an image of a flowchart. I'm too lazy to have made one myself, so I actually just found one online. But anyway, I asked it to recreate this image in Mermaid, which is a markup language. So let's see. Oh my goodness, this looks a little complicated, but hopefully it will work. I'm going to copy the code into mermaid.live and we will see what it looks like. All right, so pasting it in, obviously it did not work, and it was actually line 2 that caused the problem. I'm going to go ahead and copy this error. Like I said, it looked a little more complicated than it needed to be, but I figured I'd give it a shot. So I said, oops, that generated the following error. So let's go ahead and see if it actually did a good job with correcting the code. So yeah, as you see, it doesn't quite get mermaid. It's almost got the syntax correct, but not quite. So clearly it's not quite there, although it does seem to recognize what the graph is doing. It's just not good at making it in mermaid. So again, I found a picture from a physics experiment. It's actually a rather detailed image. And I said, please convert this to CSV format so I can open it in a table. So hopefully it will give me that information. So I saved it as a CSV file, just a text file with CSV. And now let's see if it actually is able to open it. And we get, I think this is correct. I need to go back and look at the original image. Hold on a sec. So looking at this, it seems to have done only table 1, and it seems to have gotten it mostly correct. It looks like the ones that have lots of values in it, although it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it only did 1, 2, 3, 4 of these values instead of 6. And let's see if it got 1.113, 0.850, 0.028, and then it repeated this last one. Yeah. So it's, it's a qualified success. It actually got somewhat close to the right answer, but clearly here you can see like the average speed, which is just a single value. It actually got that, but then it created, I have no idea what these values are. These make no sense whatsoever. So I'm not exactly sure what it's doing. So it kind of sort of got it. So I'm going to give it like a 50-50 on that one. It was doing the right thing, but clearly it didn't understand how to do the other tables, didn't understand quite how to deal with these tables that didn't have all of the values in it. I think I might ask it to replicate table 2 just to see. So I asked it, can you replicate table 2 rather than table 1 for me? So let's see. We may have better luck with that because as you look at this table, you can see that each of the values is filled in. So hopefully it will do a little better. I'll be back in just a sec. All right, so here we go. You can see 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30. Okay, that's good. 1.8, 1.8, 1.58, 1.6. This looks much better. 1.52, 1.37. Okay, and velocity, speed at laser gate. Oh, cool. I don't even know what this experiment is, but it looks cool. 492, 357, 346, 250, 27. Yeah. Okay. I mean, just I'm looking at it relatively quickly, but that is excellent. So it looks like the first one, it got thrown by the fact that some of these tables didn't have all of the entries in them. There was just one value for it. But on the second table, it actually did great. And it understood what table 2 was as well. So I've got to give Llama 3.2 big props for that as well. All right. And with that out of the way, let's speed run a few other tests. I'm going to start with this image from Vancouver, and we were looking at a Tesla Model Y kitchen. So let's see what we had here. The image depicts a man in a black t-shirt, that would be me, in khaki pants, standing next to an open white Tesla Model Y, very nice job, with a drawer pulled out of the trunk. The drawer contains various items, including a skateboard, a laptop, and a tablet. I don't think any of those things are in there. The man is holding a skateboard and appears to be demonstrating the storage capacity of the vehicle. So I don't think that that is correct. Let's take a look at this a little bit bigger. There's no skateboards. He's actually demonstrating a kitchen here. So it got the Model Y right, and it got some of the basics right, but it definitely did not understand this part. So I figured I'd take one more try. This is not a skateboard. Can you take a guess as to what it might be the person's showing off? Based on the image, it appears the person's holding a large piece of artwork or a painting. So yeah, that one's pretty hard, but I think probably a human would have got that. So I have to ding Llama on that one. Next up, let's try a hurricane picture. This is down at the farm during at the aftermath of the hurricane. So there was still quite a bit of clouds and things like that. So you can see the horses, lots of clouds. So let's see what it has to say. The image depicts a serene scene of 2 horses grazing in a lush green field surrounded by a wooden fence. The horses are brown and black respectively, and standing in the center of the image facing to the right, the field is dotted with trees and bushes, and a small pond or lake can be seen in the background. The sky above is cloudy and gray, adding to the peaceful atmosphere of the scene. I guess because I was there, I knew it wasn't all that peaceful. It was windy. It wasn't terrible, but anyway, it was still a little bit squirrely. So anyway, I could understand why it says peaceful, but those clouds are a little bit dark in my mind to be read as completely peaceful. Anyway, based on the presence of the horses, the wooden fence, and the rural landscape, it is likely that the photo was taken on a farm or ranch. Yeah, the exact location is difficult to determine without more information, but it could be anywhere from the United States to Europe or Australia. Good. Next up, this is the Capilano Bridge in near Vancouver in North Vancouver. So I want to see if it's able to understand where that is. So let's see, suspension bridge, all of that kind of stuff based on the architecture and surrounding landscape. Likely the photo was taken in a temperate forest region, possibly in North America or Europe. The exact location is difficult to determine without more information, but it could be anywhere from the Pacific Northwest to the Scottish Highlands. Very interesting. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a clue. I said if it's in the Pacific Northwest, tell me where it would be. Capilano Suspension Bridge, Vancouver, nice job. So sometimes it needs just a little bit of a push, but I don't find that too bad because, that is just a suspension bridge. So it's not the most obvious thing in the world. If I just saw that photograph, it would be difficult for me to locate it unless I had been there recently or something. Next up, I'm going to ask it to identify Pismo Beach. This is in the middle of California. These are just photos from my trips. I'm using these specifically because I know they're not on the internet, so it would not have possibly been able to train. So it needs to be able to use context clues. All right, the beach scene at sunset with a few people scattered along the shoreline. Sky is painted with hues of orange, yellow, and pink. Very nice. In the foreground, a few beach chairs and umbrellas are set up while a lifeguard stands in the distance. The overall atmosphere is one of relaxation and tranquility with the warm glow of the setting sun casting peaceful ambience over the entire scene. Based on all of this stuff, I would guess it was taken in Southern California, possibly in the Los Angeles or San Diego area. Very interesting. The exact location is difficult to determine without more information. So I'm going to give it another clue in the sense of another photograph from there. So that's Lane, misinformation, walking in front of the boardwalk. So hopefully it will get some sort of an idea. I would guess the photos were taken in San Diego, California. The pier and the beach in the background match the architecture and landscape of the San Diego beaches, and the warm and sunny weather in the photo is consistent with San Diego's climate. It actually was rather chilly that night. It was really beautiful, but a little bit on the chilly side. All right, so I'm going to ask it one more time and just say it's more in the central part of the California coast instead of the bottom. Okay, let's see. Pismo Beach, woohoo! So, it's pretty impressive, right? It got it wrong with San Diego, but California beaches, at least up to, like Santa Cruz or something like that, all have a large degree of similarity in their beaches. So it is a challenging thing for it to do. So I think it's really admirable that it's able to come up with very, very specific locations without a lot of clues. And then finally, just for fun, I wanted to give it a picture of the Madonna Inn because, this is very distinctive. Hopefully it will be able to figure it out. So anyway, it's striking red florals, smiles, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The overall atmosphere of the restaurant is playfulness and whimsy. Based on the distinctive decor and architecture, I would guess the photo was taken in the Madonna Inn, a famous restaurant located in San Luis Obispo, California. That is brilliant. I mean, seriously, this is not just a vision model. This is actually really cool, and it's going to be very useful. I mean, the identifying where photos are from honestly has a place, because I have a lot of, you know, I personally have a lot of analog photographs that I'm not exactly sure where they're from. And my parents as well, they took photographs. And of course, you know, before the digital age where everything was tagged with its geolocation, it's like, well, where the heck was this thing from? So that will be very useful in that sense. But I think even more so, it'll be like if I sketch out a flow chart or something, it will be able to read that. If I sketch out a table, it will be able to read that. If I sketch out the idea of a game or even give it a picture of a game, it can generate the code for that. Yes, it's not perfect yet, but remember, this is only going to get better over time. This is open source. People can tweak this and make it better and more specific to what they want to use. But this is really, really exciting. I mean, having a model that's able to see is really remarkable. So while ChatGPT voice was kind of, you know, just meh, it wasn't all that exciting, Llama 3.2 vision is very, very exciting. And when the 450 billion parameter model comes out, it's going to be even more exciting. All right, folks, so that's what I've got. What tests do you have for a vision model? Because these things are coming online, I'd be very interested to hear what kind of test you might give it, what sort of pictures or other things you could feed it and ask it questions about. So let me know in the comments about that. Let me know about what you think about Llama 3.290B and how well it did. And while you're down there, if you don't mind liking and subscribing, it really helps out the channel. I would love to get to 100,000 subscribers before my 60th birthday in late January, so help me make that happen. And in the meantime, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.